Hey there, everyone. Ryan Schul here. Welcome to my channel. This is Straight Data Science. I called it that name because this is straight up 100% truth. I don't make too many mistakes, but somebody did find a mistake that happened a few months ago, and I looked into it and I fixed it up pretty quick and got back on track there. So, anyways, so in the project today, I want to look at creating an AI agent that reads legislation coming from the House of Representatives and that summarizes each of the documents that we download. So I've kind of touched on this topic a little bit before, using some RAGs, using some LLMs. So we're going to use a combination of both today and kind of compare and contrast the output of each one. So basically, the process of downloading, reading, analyzing any kind of PDF. Today, we're going to focus on legislation, but anything at all. Could be time consuming, could be very onerous, could be a little bit monotonous, right? Kind of boring. And it could be very expensive. I worked at a company where somebody had a 1,000-page PDF. They didn't have time to read it. There was some evidence in the PDF that indicated that there was a major risk about to occur. Nobody read the PDF. The risk happened a few days later, and then it cost the company millions of dollars, right? If somebody just took the time to read the thing, they would have said, okay, there's a major risk, a couple days out, let's resolve it. But nobody did that, right? So we want to prevent that from happening, right? And save our company millions of dollars. That's the point here. So why would we do this? Obviously, time savings, cost savings, policy analysis, and strategic foresight. These are big ones, right? Economic impact assessment. That's what I just alluded to a few seconds ago. Legal and regulatory intelligence. There could be compliance. I worked on Wall Street for over 20 years. There's a lot of compliance. I worked in compliance literally for a couple of years. That was pretty slow moving, and eventually I had to get out of there. But it was interesting to have that perspective on things. And even if you don't work in the compliance space, if you work on Wall Street, I guarantee you your job touches on compliance because they're all over the place, right? Those guys are coming after you, whatever you do. So there's that aspect. Business risk management. That's another one that's pretty huge. Civic engagement, and just overall constructive journalism. How do we expose evidence? How do we get information? How do we understand things better? That's kind of the nature of journalism, right? And automated government monitoring. So, like I said before, some of this monitoring processes can be very monotonous and a little bit just kind of painful, right? If it's not too interesting. But we can use an LLM or some type of AI agent to go ahead and do the work for us and give us a quick summary description of what's happening. So that's what I want to do right here. I'm going to go to this website right here. This is Doc's House Government Floor. So this is the floor of the House of Representatives, right? Here's the link. And you can see items that may be considered under suspension of the rules, text bills for the week of July 14th, 2025. So today is July 16th. So what is this, Wednesday? I guess they start on the Monday and they go to probably Friday. I don't think the guys are working on the weekend. So we have coverage from Monday through Friday. I guess I've never seen a site before, but it looks like they have a bunch of documents, right? So all PDFs, if you click on the link, it will take you to the PDF. And here we have HR 1766. If I scroll down a little bit, I can get to the bottom of the page. So this one's pretty short. It looks like just a few pages here. 1, 2, 7, 8 pages. That's what it says. 8 pages. So not too bad. All right, if we just go pick another one, I'll go to this one down here. This is 4 pages. So not too bad. You could probably read a 4 or 8 page document. That's not gonna break your spirit. But this one is only 7. Okay, so when I picked a site, I just kind of glanced at it. I thought there was a bunch of PDF documents. I thought they were a little bit longer. It's not too long. It's a few pages. So no biggie. But there's still about probably maybe 30 or so, 25, 30 of these PDFs. If we can get a summary description of these quickly and easily and get the AI agent to do all the work for us, that's probably better than us just sitting down and reading through each one. Now, it could behoove you to read each one in detail if you're a lawyer, if you're a compliance agent, if that's your job. If you are maybe a business analyst, you have some natural curiosity about some topic, or your job tangentially touches on this, maybe you just want a quick bridge version, like Cliff Notes version or something like that. Maybe that's your goal, right? So I have the URL over here. I have a path to folder on my desktop. It's called House PDFs. And I created a quick script to go through using Beautiful Soup to look for all the tags in this document right here, right? And if you look quickly over here, if you right click on this and go to inspect, you can see this has an href right here, a target. This is the href right here. So that is a PDF. If you look quickly where my mouse is, so the document type is a PDF, and this is the link, and it literally ends in PDF. So you know that this is the document for that URL right there, right? So you go to the URL, you click that, and you download the document. So that's what this script does. First of all, it's going to print all of the documents on that URL. So I'm going to print it. Okay, so we're done. Found 31 PDFs and it took about a second. So already we're saving time, right? So we have the URL list printed. If you look closely, this is a list because you have the square brackets right here and you have each link within that list, right? Okay, not found because it is looking for the full path right here. You have to put in everything, right? So Control C, Control V, go back and this should work. Okay, there's the PDF. So it kind of gets kind of jacked up just a little bit there because of the space, but no biggie. We can go ahead and download all of those into the folder that I just showed you. So Control Enter to run it. If I go back here, here's my folder, and here's all the documents being downloaded one by one. So it looks like we have, what, 5 so far. And here comes 12. Now we're up to 12. We have 31 total, right? So pretty quick, not instantaneous. The script has to go out to the web, fetch the data, do the download, move on to the next one, download that one, go to the next one, so on and so forth. So it does it 31 times, and it does save quite a bit of time, right? So if you have to do this hundreds of times, or God forbid, thousands of times, or even 10,000 times, I've seen that before. It's kind of crazy. But if you have to download 10,000 documents, this is really a huge time saver, right? If you can just go fetch each one, grab it, download it, and you're done. You can see the obvious benefit here to saving time, right? So you could run the script, go out and get your lunch, go on a coffee break, go meet a friend, do some shopping, do some laundry. It doesn't matter. When you come back, the job is done, okay? So that's the whole point here. So that is it. We're downloading each one, and it shows you the status as we're going. We're printing. If there's a failure and it can't find URL, it indicates that too. So if there's a mistake or there's one missing file, you expect 31, you actually get 30, but it looks like 31. If there's a failure, this script will report the failure, right? So what is the URL? Why was it not downloaded? And maybe we have to go back, circle back and just get 1 or 2, depending on what happened with the process, right? So I think it's almost done. We see the status update. Honestly, this is going a little slow, so maybe something is up with this website, because I did this the other day and everything downloaded like a couple of seconds, I think. Let me look at this one. This one's a little bit bigger, right? This is about 12 megs. So how many pages on this guy? Adobe Acrobat. You should know that. You shouldn't have to ask me what to download there. Ooh, okay. So let me just take a quick peek at this one. Let's see how big this is. 381 pages. Okay, so some of these are substantial. Do I really want to sit down and read a 381 page PDF document? Not really. If that's my job, then yeah, I guess I have to do it. But again, if my job just basically touches on this and I can get a summary description of each of these documents, I would prefer to do that, right? So we have 27 out of the 31. And then we have all 31. Okay, so we got everything. Let me just see how big this thing is real quick here. Oops, I want to Control A for all, right click, properties, and I can see we have about 30 megs of files and all 31 are downloaded. Okay, so we're in good shape. So here's the list of all the downloads. Read all PDFs from folder. So I can go ahead and read the first PDF and get the first 1,000 characters in the PDF file. So I'm going to look at this specific one, RCP HR6, sorry, 3633 XML. So let me look for that. 3633 XML. .pdf. This is the one right here. Okay, so the first 1,000 characters looks like this. Okay, open it, rules, committee, print 119.6, and it goes on for a little bit. And this is 252 pages. So that one's a little bit bulky, right? Control Enter. So let me look at the first 1,000 characters of this, in the string of this PDF. That's what we're going to look at here, and it's going to print right below. And as an alternative, if we want to loop through each file name and print the first 1,000 characters of every single PDF in there, just for a quick sanity check and just to visually see what's the contents of that PDF, we could loop through all those and print the first 1,000 characters. I just want to look at one is fine. Okay, I'm going to get a summary description of all of these PDFs in just a minute, but for now I'm just going to look at one. Okay, so that is running. Again, kind of slow here. Sometimes I do the demo by myself and rehearse it before I do the actual narratives. I call all these videos narratives. I do it myself and it runs fine, and then I turn on the recorder and all of a sudden things run like a snail here. I'm not sure why, but should be working. I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. And one thing, I'll just jump ahead just a little bit. When we use ChatGPT, you have to register for an API key. Now this is close to, there's a small charge for this. It's almost free. It's not quite free, but it is very, very, very cheap. These things cost just pennies, just 1 or 2 pennies to go ahead and send 1,000 tokens to ChatGPT and you get the response. So I have done this now for several weeks. I gave them my credit card. I think the total charges on my credit card in about 3 weeks was $1.20 or something. So you're talking about small money here, guys. When you spend $5 for coffee at Starbucks, that's a little bit. If you do ChatGPT interactions and use this tool to get recommendations, to get summaries of PDFs, that's exactly what we're doing here. And you pay $1.20 for 3 weeks worth of work. That's basically nothing. I would call that almost free. It's not 100% free, right? But it's pretty close to it, guys. It's pretty close. So it's given me some messages here. No real error or anything. It's just reporting back some message. I'm not even sure what this means, but okay. So we have the 1,000 length string here, or text. So that's what you saw before. Committee print 1196, text HR 3633. All right, so that is coming from over here, and then it goes to Clarity Act of 2025. So we see that. Okay, so we see the first 1,000 characters. We know this 31 PDFs, and we're looking at the first 1,000 characters of the first one. So now, like I said before, you need your ChatGPT API key. You can go ahead and apply for the key right here. Okay, this is where my key is. If I hit Control Enter, it's probably gonna ask me to log in. Oh, it knows I'm already logged in. Okay, so they always start with the letters SK, and it goes for like 80 or 90 digits. They're kind of long. And this is all like blocked out, right? These are my secret keys, so you can't see what this is. And I can't expose it over here either because this is personal and confidential, right? But you go ahead and apply for your own key, put in your credit card, super cheap to use the service. And then when your key is in here, you can go ahead and run everything over the contents of this folder right here. Here's the folder, right? So this is the path house PDFs, that's what I called it. And if you look close, that goes over here. So house PDF comes over here, and that goes into PDF folder. So everything should be in PDF folder. If I scroll down here, oh, I see what it's doing. Okay, so it's writing a text file and then PDF folder for file name or folder name. Sorry, I'm just looking for the PDF folder. There's that one. And that is a text I just read. Oh, PDF text. I guess it's called PDF text. Is that on it? Okay, yeah. So it goes from file folder, which is linked over here, PDF folder, and then it goes to PDF text. Okay, so we're reading all the text files. A PDF is just like a fancy text file. It's essentially a text file that packaged up as a PDF. So you can have formatting, so you can have actually images and bold font and small font and different kind of, what is it called, character font styles like Times New Roman and things like this, right? It has more control and more formatting on the file, but essentially it's just a text file, right? So we go into all the text files in this folder and read each one. So I just looked at the first one right here because I looked specifically for this document right here, right? Sorry, which one? Oh yeah, specifically at this file right here, just to look at one. But now I want to load all 31 and get the summary for all 31 files, okay? So I'm going into for file name in PDF text. So we're going to loop through all 31 files and print the file name and then print the summary description of those files. And then when everything is done, I'm going to write a summary description of all PDFs back into that folder. So here's house PDFs. This be called legislation summary.txt. So the benefit to doing this is if you want to make 31 calls to ChatGPT and say, okay, give me a summary description on each file 31 times. We loop through the process 31 times. If you just do that once and you're done, maybe that's all you need, right? If you want to save this summary description as a text file because you're going to use it over and over and over, you don't want to always go back to ChatGPT and make these requests over and over because it's going to cost you a little more money, not too much, but cost time too, right? So you're wasting time and you're wasting money if you're going to use this resource over and over again for some type of reference or learning or sharing information with your team or some group that you're working with, or even students if you're a professor, right? If you want to share it with a bunch of people, you should make a summary description of all of those 31 PDFs. Again, if you just use it once, you probably just need to do this one time. Here's the summary description for this PDF summary of bills 119 HR 1170RH, whatever that is. I don't even know, but let me look for this file 119. Oh, okay. So if we go down here, it starts with bills, right? 119. Okay, so it's the first one, right? So it gets it in order. So it's helpful. And if we look at a summary description, what's in this file right here? So we have union calendar HR 1170. This is 12 pages and not a whole lot of stuff here. It's only 12 pages. Some of these files go over 100, right? So that's fine. We could read through this. But again, if you want the summary description, it's printed for you right here. So here's the summary. Who is affected by the Consumer Product Safety Commission on the Secretary of Commerce and the Federal Trade Commissions are directly affected by this legislative text. So if we look for this Consumer Product Safety Commission, let me see if we can find exactly that text. I bet we can, because that's what's referencing. Control F. It's loading results. Okay, so no results from consumer products. Probably get cut off or something. Consumer products. Consumer products. Okay, so we found 3. I'm just trying to find like the evidence of the reference here. The Secretary of Commerce and the Federal Trade Commission are directly affected. Let me see. Let me search for the Secretary of Commerce and Federal Trade Commission. So FTC. Come up a little bit. Okay, and that's Secretary of Commerce. I found 3. And somehow it flipped this thing. Okay, I'm not sure what that is. Secretary of Commerce and Federal Trade Commission to study and report on the use of blockchain technology and tokens respectively, right? So that is the summary right here, and it says exactly the same thing. Secretary of Commerce, FTC affected by this legislation, affects data scientists, AI, ML, cybersecurity experts, members of the retail industry, and consumer product safety organization and consumer. Okay, so that's the first summary that it comes back with from this PDF. So the second thing it says is what actions are mandated or prohibited. And where's this getting this, by the way? So these are the questions I'm feeding into the API of the ChatGPT model, right? So I said, who is affected? Tell me who is affected. What actions or mandates are prohibited? Economics implications. That's what I'm asking from this model, right? So I go to ChatGPT with 5 questions, economic implications. If I go down here, I should be able to find that or something similar. Economic, so doesn't come back with that. Econ. No, there's no econ, but let me see what it came back with. So this is where it gets very interesting because I gave it explicit instructions what are the economic implications of this legislation, this piece of legislation that has been written and being reviewed by the House. The economic implications are not explicitly stated in the text. See, so you can't even find it. However, this is where it gets super interesting, guys. The implication of artificial intelligence and blockchain technology could potentially lead to cost savings and increased efficiency in consumer product safety and commerce. So I told it, look for the economics. What is the byproduct of the economics of this piece of legislation? Well, there's nothing directly, but this tool is smart enough to come up with the concept that there will be cost savings and increased efficiency in consumer safety and e-commerce. So this is talking about blockchain. If I go back here, how many chains, how many times is blockchain mentioned? 18 times, right? So it's a big piece of this legislation. It's all about blockchain. So there's two more questions: societal or legal concerns, and what else? Key arguments for and against. Okay, so if I go back here, societal or legal concerns, key arguments for or against. So these are the 5 questions I'm prompting ChatGPT, this model, GPT-4. This is the one I'm hitting right here. They have, I think, 4 models. They have a 3.5, 4 Pro or something, and they have a new one that just came out. I don't even know what it's called yet. So the 3.5 is a little cheaper. The responses that you get aren't quite as refined as the 4. This is why I like to use the 4. And the 4 is pretty cheap. You can go to the next level up. The responses are even more refined, right? It's more thoughtful, more baked in, more built out for you. You pay a little bit more, but again, it's not an arm and a leg. It's pretty cheap for what you get, guys, honestly. So these are the 5 questions I feed to the model for each PDF. Let's move on to the next one. So analyzing bills 119.1596 ES. So if I go back here, should be number 2 in the list. HR 1596 ES. Oh, I think that's just the way it read through those. Let me see. Oh, it's going to this one. Okay, that's fine. So now we're looking at just 4 pages, so this one's pretty small. We know the questions already, right? So the 5 topics: who's affected, what actions are mandated or prohibited, economic implications, societal or legal concerns, and key arguments for or against. That's what we're looking at for each PDF. So the first one, we got the response. Second one, who's affected, the renaming of the Anhook National Wildlife Refuge primarily affects the local community. Let me look for that. As long as it's not cut off, it should find that. Okay. And I found 3. Okay, so what's right there? It's right at the top, right? And then number 2 is going to be fitting. That can be renamed in her honor. And then this one is sideways. I'm not sure what that sideways thing is, but anyways, we'll disregard that for now. So who's affected? We know who's affected. What actions are mandated? We get a summary about that. Economic implications. The act does not appear to have direct economic implications. And if I search for economic, it's probably not going to find it because it doesn't have anything about that. But that's fine. That's just the question that we're proposing, right? So economic, and there's nothing, no search results. So moving on, societal or legal concerns. The renaming of the refuge is symbolic. Okay, and key arguments for or against. Supporters may argue that renaming the refuge is fitting tribute to Jocelyn Nangary. And if we look for that, it's got to be coming from that PDF, right? Because it's very specific. And ChatGPT is not going to be aware of that. Okay, so the name comes up 7 times, and basically National Wildlife Refuge located in the state of Texas is being renamed in the honor of this person. So the Jocelyn Nangary National Wildlife Refuge. So that's what the document is about, right? And this is going to be reviewed by the House, by the representatives of the House. I think there's 435 members of the House, right? 100 senators, 2 for each state. Uh, 435. There you go. So these 435 people are going to be reading through these 31 files, right? So the next one, let me just skip down to the last. Okay, so I think you understand, you get the point, right? So this is the last one, HR 900 PDF. Okay, so that one's pretty straightforward. Finally, we get one that kind of makes a little bit of sense. 900 HR 900 PDF. HR 900. Oh, there's a space. So it puts this percent sign in between. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I got the wrong one. 2900. HR 900? Is there? Oh, percent 20. Okay, so that's kind of some kind of computer thing for space, I think. 2900. What does this mean? I think that represents a space in the computer science world. Character? Percent 20 is the URL encoded representation of a space character. Okay, so I think I knew that, but I might have learned something new today. So there is actually an underline here. I think we append the underline right here. If it's missing, where's the underline? It's going to be over here somewhere. If I search for that. I was just looking for the underline. It must come in somewhere because you can see you have a space in the file, but it's represented by that space character, that point, that percent 20. Okay, anyways, I don't want to dwell on that. Let me get rid of this thing so it's a little easier to read. So we did the download, we did the 1,000 characters, we got a summary description for all 31 files. Who's affected? We answered our question. What actions are mandated or prohibited? Economic implications. Again, the bill does not specify any economic outcomes or scenarios, and that's fine. It's just a question we're asking. If it's there, we grab it. If it's not, then we don't. Societal or legal concerns. The bill could raise privacy concerns and so on and so forth, and key arguments for or against. Supporters might argue that the program could help prevent damage and loss of life by identifying areas at risk of sinkholes. Okay, so this piece of legislation is talking about sinkholes. So if there's a sinkhole, we'd probably want to address that, probably want to handle that somehow. Okay, so again, if you are going to use this summary description of these 31 files, you could save that as a JSON string in this folder, as everything comes from this folder. House PDFs has the contents of those 31 files. And again, if you just wanted to save a text file of all these summary descriptions, you can take everything that has been loaded, open that with open, write to text file. W means write, using coding 8 UTF-8. So there's a few different coding styles. This is a popular one, UTF-8 as file, and for file name and summary in summaries, right? So we have for, and that is the second part. So we're getting file name and then the summary. That's why you see this pattern over here. So file name and then the summary right here, right? So for every file name, for every summary, in all the items, right to the file name, have a line break. The \n means line break, and the length of the file name equals length of file name plus break, right summary, and then 2 breaks at the end. So you can see 2 spaces. This is break, break, after we write the summary, and then we go back and get the next one. Okay, so hopefully this makes a heck of a lot of sense here. We're opening 31 PDFs, sending requests 31 times to ChatGPT, asking it these 5 questions, everything contained inside the body of text. So the prompt is F triple open quote, anything within the triple open quotes, beginning and ending. We're getting the text, truncate to fit token items. So we get up to 6,000 characters. That is going to cover us for everything down here. If we go down here and put this into Microsoft Word, we should have more than enough space at the end. If not, we could bump that up a little bit. It really depends on your specific needs, but it should handle most cases here. If I go down here and right click, and where is this thing down here? Summary, there's a summary. Oh, 1722 characters. Okay, so we have one page, 270 words, 1459 characters, 1722 with spaces, 7 paragraphs, and 26 lines. So we accommodate up to 6,000 characters. This is 1722, and we have like another 4,500 or so to go. So we're plenty of buffer there, right? We're not going to run out of space. Again, if you want a summary description, we could write that as a JSON file. I put this also as a text file over here. So we're covered if we want to preserve all of these summaries, right, and share it with other people. It's easy to do that. And then for name and summary summaries, we can print name and then the break So here's Bill's 19 HR. I think we looked at that one at the beginning, right? So just a quick summary description, just for a quick sanity check. So moving down here, as an alternative to using an LLM, we can create summaries for each PDF. We can use RAG methodology. So this is going to be a little different. RAG operates mostly on your desktop. You basically summarize these files using a, I forgot what RAG stands for now. I just made a video on this a few days ago, but I've got so many videos that are all starting to blend together. RAG, what is not Rage Against the Machine, data science, data science. Oh yeah, retrieval augmented generation is a technique in data science that enhances LLMs by combining them with external knowledge sources. So the benefit to doing this is it's pretty fast, it's pretty efficient, and it almost forces the LLM not to hallucinate. Now, LLMs are very apologetic. You ask it a question, and they are going to do everything in their power, bending over backwards, and till the skies and the oceans collide, until the world falls apart. They're going to do everything they can to accommodate your requests, okay? Even if they don't know the answer, they're going to give you an answer. Could be false, could be fake. This is called a hallucination. So RAG really prevents this hallucination from happening, and it's going to say, you know what, I want to generate a real answer and guarantee that this answer is true and correct, rather than just propose an answer that kind of sounds correct, but if you do a little due diligence, maybe you could find it's actually not correct, okay? So if you're okay with that, with a summary description that's pretty much close to being perfect, but no guarantees, then an LLM would suffice. If you want almost mathematical certainty and absolute precision that the response is correct and it's not a hallucination, then you really should look into using a RAG concept, right? Or a RAG methodology. This means the embedding or the text is going to split all these PDFs into chunks and convert them into vector embeddings. We store the embeddings in the vector database. We query the vector storage using a prompt or keyword question. We retrieve chunks of data, right? You don't do everything all at once, like shooting water through a fire hose. It doesn't go all at once. It goes in like bits and buckets and bytes, right? It goes in chunks. These are called chunks. And it's just like a human would understand something, interpret something too. If somebody takes a ton of information and just dumps it on you, are you gonna learn anything? No, and the model is not gonna learn anything either. Has to come in chunks, has to come in sequences, has to come in structured sentences, right? That's how you learn something, that's how you deliver a message. It's not everything everywhere all at once. That was a movie that came out, but that is not reality, okay? So that's how it works, and then it summarizes the answer based only on the retrieved text, not the full document of text, right? So we can split the PDFs into chunks. Again, you need your API key. This is really, I just have the SK here at the beginning because I always start with SK. That's the convention there. But this would still go to an LLM, but much more refined process that really uses RAG methodology, not like an open LLM methodology. Okay, so really different inputs, really different concept, and really different result. Now, it's not going to be worlds different, but it's going to be more accurate than what an LLM will produce in some cases. Now, in some cases, it could be almost virtually the same. In some cases, it could be more accurate. Okay, so again, I'm asking these questions between the triple quotes. We open here, we end it here. Who is affected? What actions or mandates are prohibited? Okay, economic implications, societal or legal concerns, and key arguments for or against this piece of legislation. So again, same thing, just using a different concept, using RAG instead of an LLM. And again, I'm getting everything summarized in the text document. So if I want to share this with family or friends, I have this document that has all the summaries for all 31 PDFs stored in one place. So we don't have to go back and forth over and over again. If we want to regenerate this, we store it, we preserve it. It's almost like pickling something, right? When you create a model, you pickle it, you preserve it, and then you can use it over and over again. Kind of the same concept. Say everything is saved in a text file. Here we have the summaries, okay, economic implications, societal or legal concerns. And the fifth question we ask here is key arguments for or against. Okay, so different results, almost similar to the LLM, slightly different inputs, slightly different outputs. Okay, so the PDF extraction occurs on your machine. The text chunking and splitting occurs on your machine with these RAGs. The embedding creation is sent to the open API unless use unless you're using a local model. So you can download local models. Hugging Face has about 1.6 million now, I think. If I go here, Google Hugging Face models. Let me see how many they're up to. 1.6 million, I'm gonna guess. 1.8 million. Okay, I was off. They have new models coming out every single day, probably tens of thousands every day. The last time I looked was recently 1.6. Now they're up to 1.86. So they had a couple 100,000 come out just in the past few days. So the difference again with the LLM, everything is chunked and sent to the LLM. Now, if you are concerned with releasing your specific confidential corporate documents to the LLM, everything is going beyond your firewall. It's going beyond your desktop. It's leaving your corporate network, right? It's going past the firewall to the LLM. The difference here is all the text extraction is on your machine, text chunking and splitting is on your machine. The embedding creation, now at this point, it's vectorized and embedded. That gets sent to the open API, right? So that goes beyond your firewall. But the vector storage is local, retrieval is local, and the final summary is sent to ChatGPT. So in the first case, everything was sent to ChatGPT, right? It leaves your machine. In the RAG example here, four of the six steps are local to go to ChatGPT to get this vector embeddings created, and then the response, the summary, sent back to your machine. So here's the cost here. GPT-4 Turbo is 1 cent per one token. This is 1/100th of 1 cent per token. This is GPT-5. I'm using GPT-4. If you look close, you'll see that right there, GPT-4. So I'm using the middle model. I got good performance. It's pretty cost effective here. So here's the breakdown of everything. So on and so forth. Each chunk is about 750 tokens. If you embed 1,000 chunks, that's 750,000 tokens. Divide by 1,000 times 1/1000th of one penny, I think. So it costs 7.5 cents to do this job. So that's what I said before, pretty cheap, guys. 7.5 cents versus you reading top to bottom, front to back, all these PDFs. I'll pay 7.5 cents and get a summary description, and I'm good to go. I don't need to spend the entire day reading PDFs. I can save 8 hours or 10 or 12 or maybe an entire day. I don't even know how long it would take to read all these things, but you can save a day of your life, and it costs you 7.5 cents. So not bad, right? Now, there's one more alternative, local RAG pipeline. If you want everything 100% local and you don't want to put anything to the LLM, you can download a model from here, right? Yeah, alama.com downloads. And I looked into this. I actually didn't really do a whole lot with this thing. Download for Windows. You can download that thing. And that sucker basically just sits on your desktop and does all the processing, right? It goes into this house PDFs and makes all the summaries of all these, right? And again, I'm asking it these 5 questions between the triple quotes. So who's affected? What actions are mandated or prohibited by the legislation? What's the economic implications? Any societal or legal concerns? And what are the key arguments for or against this legislation, right? So this goes locally to Llama. Everything happens local. Nothing gets exposed outside of your firewall. So if you're super paranoid about that, and I've worked with people that are extremely paranoid, like I don't care that much really. If it's confidential, you can make embeddings and still work with RAG and get very good results. It's going to be very fast and very efficient. If you don't trust that, you can download a Llama. Everything is local and there's no paranoia whatsoever, okay? And even if you do use ChatGPT and you had some kind of confidential document, I can understand you don't want that in the public domain. So ChatGPT is not taking your document and throwing it up on the internet so every Tom, Dick, and Harry out there can see it. No, they're preserving it. They're concealing that. They're probably doing some kind of, what's it called? Forgot the term. Anyways, they're probably scrubbing it somehow, so it's not even identifiable to your corporation. But if you were super, super, super paranoid kind of person, you think maybe ChatGPT could be cyber attacked. Maybe they can have some cyber attacks, and all the documents can be exposed. Guys, guess that could happen, in somehow in the next 1 million years or something, but the chance of that happening is so slim. I wouldn't lose any sleep over it. I've worked with people that would say, absolutely not, we're not going to do that. Um, so that's your own prerogative, right? If you're that kind of person and you have those kind of concerns and it keeps you up at night, then use the local llama. It's 100% on your desktop. Nobody can see it unless the cyber attackers who attack ChatGPT attack your corporation and break in, and there's a security breach. I saw one recently. McDonald's was breached a couple of days ago. Cyber attack. Here it is. 1 day ago. Okay, so it happened 1 day ago. Um, so that's very unusual. But if you're that kind of person that keeps you up at night, then you can download everything to Llama. I would use the RAG, very good performance. Everything is vectorized and basically anonymized, right? So they don't know who you are. Fast, very efficient. And if you really don't have concerns about cybersecurity threats occurring on ChatGPT, if these guys invented the technology and they're doing all this great AI stuff, I would trust them pretty much to obfuscate the results, to anonymize it, and to protect themselves against cybersecurity threats. But again, it's a crazy world, guys. Like anything can happen. If that's your major concern, then just don't even use LLMs, don't even use RAGs, use the Llama. Okay, so there's 3 versions depending on how what your personality is and how what's the word paranoid you are. Okay, so take your pick. I'll leave you to that to make that kind of judgment. So this is it. I'm going to wrap it up here. The video was at 40 minutes. It's kind of a long one. I don't want to suck up any more of your time, but that's it in a nutshell, how to create an AI agent that reads legislation and summarizes each document. Obviously, this is just one example here. If you have a folder full of PDFs, all you're going to have to do is point this code. You have to get the API key, like I mentioned initially, point this code to this spot right here. Everything is saved on my desktop on House PDFs. Just put your PDFs there, whether it's a network drive or on your computer, and you're good to go. That's the only thing you're going to have to change. Everything else is done for you. So I try to make these examples very scalable up, very scalable out, to make it as easy as possible for you to plug in your own specific PDFs and your own, solve your own problems and cater to your own needs. I'm not saying you're looking at House of Representatives legislation and trying to analyze those documents. I can pretty much 100% mathematically guarantee you're not doing that, but I can also guarantee you're probably doing something highly similar. It's just different PDFs, okay? It's your specific corporate PDFs or your personal PDFs, not the House of Representative PDFs. That's the only thing you have to change, and you're good to go. So I'm gonna wrap it up here, guys. Thanks for your time, appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.